we saw a number of comebacks yesterday afternoon, and I want to start in Baltimore, where, man, Tua Tagovailoa and the Miami Dolphins erase a 21-point fourth-quarter deficit, win the game over the Ravens 42-38. Tua, Tyreek, Waddle, they were explosive, they were outstanding. What were your thoughts watching that game unfold yesterday?
I thought Tua was back at Alabama. I thought he was playing in Tuscaloosa in the fourth quarter. I mean, they scored 28 points on 21 plays in the fourth quarter.
Wow.
Think about that. 28 points in 21 plays. I have no idea what Mike McDonald was doing. Like, Mike, that's Tyreek Hill over there. You're playing man freaking coverage from off. That's Tyreek Hill, okay? That is the best receiver in football. He scares your death. Most guys wear a diaper when he's out there. Like, we're going to shit our pants, right? You got zero cover. You're playing off coverage with no press, and it was pitch and catch. I mean, look, I think I'm not taking anything away from Tua, but it hasn't been since Alabama that these receivers were this wide ass open. It really hasn't. In the fourth quarter, come on. I mean, it was so. I mean, I think he made a great throw on 3rd and 13 to Gesicki in the back of the end zone. Mike rushed 2 on that play. He rushed 2. Like, there was any time, if you watch the tape, and I did this morning. If you watch it, anytime they put pressure on him, it was not good. When he had time to check the runners at 1st and 3rd before bringing the ball to the plate, it was great. I mean, he was great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not dismissing it. It was a great comeback. But Baltimore played a huge role in this comeback now, Femi. Let's not make any mistake about it. I have no idea what they were thinking. Let this guy have free access down the field? I mean, we're not running. This isn't the Olympics. Like, we're not like, you can jam the guy before he comes off the line. The guy was 15 yards. The first touchdown he caught, almost had a fair catch, and he stopped. He was so far behind. I don't know what Kyle Hamilton was doing. There could be a 30 for 30 on him. Like, how he's on the field and on the deep third, I have no idea. But if he is, somebody's got to go after him. But the reality of it is to me, 2 things happened in this game, right? Again, this is never, ever publicized by the analytical community because it didn't work. But Baltimore goes for it twice on 4th down in the game. They go for it once in the 1-yard line and they fumble. They go for it once in the field, they don't get it. Okay? Those 2 4th downs are costly. Those 4th downs are costly. I thought Lamar was sensational with a capital S.
Yes.
I thought he was unbelievable. I think he didn't deserve to lose that game at all. I mean, he drove him down, got him in the field goal range, and I think they try to take away the timeouts. But what happened to Baltimore, more than anything, Fem, is they scored on one-play drives. I mean, so this game, I keep track of explosive plays, right? That's plays of over 20 yards. Baltimore had 6 explosive plays in the game of over 20 yards. 3 of them went for touchdowns.
Whew.
So you don't need any clock up when you do that. Again, I'm not apologizing. You want to score when you can score, right? But, and then Miami had 6 explosive plays, 2 for touchdowns.
It's really insane, the offensive output that we saw from these 2 teams. Like you outlined, the Ravens had 8.8 yards per play. The Dolphins had 7.9 yards per play. Both of these defenses were struggling, but Miami's defense, credit to them, in the second half, at least were able to make some adjustments there, especially in that fourth quarter, limiting Baltimore to just 3 points. But just to kind of hammer home what you were talking about with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, Hill had 190 yards receiving on 2 touchdowns. Waddle had 171 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns as well. 2 of 469, 6 TD passes, 2 interceptions. Are you buying? Are you buying into this?
Okay. On the last drive of the game, he throws an interception. The kid drops it. It was the play before. Mike McDonald didn't even put any press coverage on Tyreek Hill, and he just ran by him on the left sideline. He was so far, like when you played Little League in your backyard, when you played touch football with your friends, like nobody's even that open on that field. Like, he was so freaking wide open. But on the play before, Tua throws an interception. I mean, they dropped it. That's the game right there. They dropped it. And because they dropped it, they lose. I mean, you can go through a lot of these games when you drop interceptions. I mean, look, Baltimore in the fourth quarter, just wasn't able to get control of the game like they did. I think they felt like they were going to coast, and they got so they have a dropped interception, right? Miami drops an interception too. Now, on that last drive where they get 3 points, Howard's got the ball in his hands and he drops it. And then they went into 3 bad plays on offense and they got the holding call and they had to settle for the field goal. But to me, look, you got to, you're up 35-14. You got a big lead. You give up all these points, and you let them score 28 points in 7 minutes and and all that time and 28 points on 21 plays. You don't deserve to win. But for me, I think this is there's no defensive coordinator that's going to go into the game and say, we're not going to jam him. I mean, we're going to see a lot of cover 2 against Miami. Mm-hmm. We're going to see a lot of deep safeties. Look, Miami, if they don't make big plays, let him work the ball down the field. Let him work it down the field. If you give up a big play like that, I mean, you deserve to lose. It's Tyreek Hill, Femi.
The whole too high coverage that Kansas City saw last year was a direct reflection of what Tyreek Hill can do down the field. And the Ravens, I guess, didn't want to have those safeties back. They thought their corners could run with Tyreek Hill. Not sure what they saw on film that's led them to that belief, but we all saw how it played out.
They rushed 2 in the red zone. The throw he makes to Gesicki, there was nobody within 10 yards of him. The 2 rushers were past. He stepped up in the pocket and he threw it. I mean, it was unbelievable. Seriously, if you're John Harbaugh and you're watching that tape today, you call Mike McDonald, Mike, what are we doing here? For us to win this game, we got to take Tyreek Hill out of the game. We got to make Tua beat us with tight window throws. We got to rush inside. We got to get somebody in front of Tua. He just admitted to the world that he can't see everybody. So when we allow him to have a lane that, who's the greatest bowler of all time that could have bowled down the goddamn lane? I mean, seriously. Again, I'm not taking anything away from Tua, but if you think that's going to continue down the road, come on, please. That game's an aberration, and you can watch the tape. Sit down and watch the tape with me. I could show it to you. He was at Alabama again. He was literally at Alabama. Those receivers were so ass wide open. It was Alabama playing Louisiana Monroe.
6 TD passes for Tua, and the Dolphins now 2-0 as they go ahead and have the comeback victory 42-38 over Baltimore.
As I say that, I think you got to give Miami credit here in the sense that they copied Alabama's game plan. So, and what do I mean by that? They went to elite skill, like Alabama always has against their opponent, right? Mm-hmm. They went to elite skill, separation skill to build around their quarterback. They're doing everything to make Tua successful, and you got to give them credit for that. You got to give them credit for that. Do I think it'll work in the long term? Do I think Tua's going to be a top 20 quarterback? Probably not. Do I think that he can win a Super Bowl with that team? No. But that skill is the Alabama game plan that's now in Miami. But there's defensive coordinators that are going to do a little bit different than what Mike McDonald did yesterday.
Miami's absolutely frightening on offense when you look at their skill guys. We talked about it during the offseason. Yeah, you got to dare them to run the ball. New England did it. New England held them to 20 points last week, and made them work the ball. They gave up one big play, 41-yard to Waddle, and they scored 10 points with their defense. I mean, New England did it. New England just made sure they took Hill out of the game. He still made plays, but you can't allow that free access. He waited for the ball on the first touchdown. He was waiting for the ball. He was so far behind him. He's remarkable. He tilts the field. Mm-hmm. Do you realize what would have happened if he was available and Al Davis wouldn't have been able to trade? Oh my God. He'd be wearing silver and black.
Oh my God. He would have been wearing silver and black coming out. I mean, this guy is a freak in this sense. He is explosively fast, and he is explosively quick. You don't get those two combinations very often.
He's a rare player.
He's rare. I'm reading this book by David Marinus about Jim Thorpe and talking about Jim Thorpe's athleticism. I mean, this is kind of there's once in a lifetime you get somebody like this.
Thanks for watching the GM Shuffle with Michael Lombardi. And for more videos like this, make sure to subscribe to VSiN Live and the GM Shuffle podcast with Michael Lombardi, presented by DraftKings and VSiN, wherever you get your podcasts.